So, hi everybody, it's Marie.Jenkins from Advance Your Wellbeing, and today for our Wellbeing Week we have the lovely Kathy Scott. Hiya, Kathy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure.
It's great because we've been doing lots of catch ups on Zoom because previously you lived in Worcestershire, but now you've moved house, I believe.
I have, yes, I'm now in sunny Norfolk.
How fantastic!
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, well, it is sunny now at the moment anyway. But yeah, settling in quite nicely, thank you.
Good, good. So, tell me who you are and what is it that you do?
Okay. Well, I'm Kathy Scott and I run a business called Hands On at Work. And basically, it is a workplace massage and wellbeing services company. So, what we do is our primary offering has always been the massage. So, we take that into businesses. We take a massage chair in and set it up in a corner of a room, get people to away from their desks, come and have a massage for say 15, 20 minutes. So it gives them a break during the day. They get a really good pummeling, bit of a stretch, and it just gives them time as well to completely switch off, which we all need to do during the day because it is so easy just to carry on, but everybody needs a break. So it's a lovely way to take a break. We've been going since 2010, so 11 years now. And we started off in Worcestershire and were sort of fairly local to begin with, but then started expanding out when we were getting inquiries from elsewhere in the UK. So going from effectively one or two people, we've now got a bank of about 100 plus therapists dotted
Wow,
all over the place.
wow, that's fantastic, fantastic. And I completely get what you say about workplace massage. I mean, our paths first crossed when I was working at BDHT and we had a wellbeing week and Hands On at Work came in there. And what I'm talking probably about, what, 8 years ago now. And then we reconnected when I set up my business. And then I had the fantastic pleasure of having a massage at, now, was it Find It in Worcestershire or was it Stirling?
It was Sterling, I believe. Yes, it was up at the rugby ground, wasn't it? Worcester Warriors. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, we had a stand at the expo. So if we do anything like that, we always take the chair along to. So we always say it's easier to explain what we do by demonstrating it. So yeah, so we give complimentary 5-10 minute. And yes, you had
Yeah.
one of those, and I believe it was Matt on our team.
What a fantastic memory you've got, Kathy.
I
That's
can
brilliant.
visualize photographs.
Ah, it was lovely, and it's just nice to have that sort of headspace, isn't it? To have some
Yeah.
sort of relaxation. So yeah, brilliant. And we'll talk a bit more about that later. But can you talk me through sort of your career in wellbeing and how did you get to doing what you do?
Well, I haven't always been in well-being. I used to work in the legal profession. I was a property lawyer for probably nearly 20 years.
Wow.
um, but, call it midlife crisis or whatever you want, I don't know. But I, I did enjoy what I did, but then I got to a point where I wasn't enjoying it anymore. There'd been changes in the place where I worked, and I just felt as if it was sort of time to move on, really. I didn't feel as if I wanted to do the same thing for another 20 years. So I didn't actually think about massage at the time, hadn't even crossed my mind, but I just gave my notice in and thought, I don't want to do this anymore. So I just left. And then did a bit of locum work for a while just to pay the bills. But then that was coming up to the end of 2007 when things started going wrong with sort of like the bank crisis, all the problems with Northern Rock. And I used to do property. So it was at that point where I thought, well, I probably won't be getting so much work. what do I really, really want to do? And I still don't know to this day why I chose massage. I think somebody must have sown the idea in my head, the seed of an idea somewhere along the line. So I went on the internet and started searching courses in massage, and I found one down in the Cotswolds, and I thought, oh, it's nice down there, we'll go down there then. And that was my
Yeah.
logic, you know. So I signed up, and I've always said that it was a good job that I'd actually paid my money before I actually properly looked at the course content, because all the anatomy and physiology you have to learn. I thought, oh
Yeah.
no, I failed my biology O level all those years ago. What am I going to do? And I did struggle, I have to say. There was a lot to learn. So it was basically holistic massage, but then you had to learn all sort of, obviously, you know, what you're working on. Makes sense, doesn't it? You know, you're working
Yeah.
on the body, what do the muscles do, you know, and all this sort of thing. So yeah, so that was beginning of 2008. And then I think sort of once you've done the course, you then get a bug to do all different courses as well. So then I did an Indian head massage course. But at the
Ah.
time, I remember in the kitchen there was information about chair massage, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And I immediately thought, I don't know, because of my background of having worked in offices, but I thought that would be a good thing to take into businesses. I'd really quite like to do this. So anyway, so within a year, I think it was, so I found a good chair massage course. So I did that, and basically thought, well, that's now where my focus will be. So initially, when I first qualified, I did rent a room in a therapy room which was attached to a shop in the Crown Gate shopping centre in Worcester. And that was great. And I was just doing holistic massage, Indian head massage. But within 18 months, that shop unfortunately closed down. So, but it was about that time I was just finishing my chair massage. So I just thought, well, okay, it's telling me now this is the time, you know, to think what you're going to do with it. And I took a short-term business let at a business park in Worcester. That introduced me to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
They were very, very supportive, I have to say, and gave us plenty of opportunities to sort of demonstrate and explain what we do. And so, of course, then that introduced me to networking, and it sort of, you know, went on from there really and built from there.
Yeah. So Chamber of Commerce is fantastic. I mean, obviously I'm in Hereford and Worcester Chamber of
Mm.
Commerce area, but now you've moved to Norfolk, you've actually joined the chamber there as well. So
I have, yes, yeah. As I say, our first chamber was Hereford and Worcester, and they were just so good to us. And you know, they support you in so many different ways, don't they?
yeah,
You know, it's not just sort of networking. And also over time, when we grew and we were sort of expanding to different areas, we also belonged to the Birmingham Chamber, and again, you know, they were very good. So yes, so now I'm over here. I've joined the Norfolk Chamber as well.
yeah.
So watch out, Norfolk.
Well, it's brilliant though because, like you said, they offer fantastic support for businesses. So
Yeah.
if people need any support, it's good to find out where their local chamber is near them.
Mm,
But
mm.
let's look at today, where we're at now. So, what before I ask you about the biggest challenge or opportunity for well-being at the moment, can we take some time to reflect? So, obviously, if you're predominantly been doing sort of massage, how have you diversified through the pandemic, and what positives came out of that for you?
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock in March last year, I have to say, because just prior to that, we were at our busiest time ever. I mean, you know, the business was just flying, and then all of a sudden, come March 2020, it's zero income. You're not allowed to work. Um, just previous to that, we had been exploring other wellbeing services that we could offer to businesses. Because a lot of the therapists on the team, they're a talented lot, you know, and they don't only do the massage. Some of them are yoga teachers. Others do sort of other complementary therapies that are not necessarily hands-on. We've been working with people who do nutrition, this sort of thing. So we were thinking, well, you know, what could we offer that where we don't actually have to physically go in to see the clients? So we looked at sort of online courses, and I have to say I was a little nervous about doing that to start with. I suppose because we hadn't done it before, you know, online, and I was a bit, well, we were all new to this, weren't we? Zoom calls and what have you. But anyway, there was a couple of therapists who then sort of put together some online courses for, well, workshops for us in mindfulness and desk yoga. Those in particular turned out to be sort of very popular.
Yeah.
And I think sort of after a couple of the clients had sort of said, yeah, we'll try it, and we did it, and they were happy with it. So then I thought, oh, okay, this does work.
Yeah.
So although it was nothing, obviously, to the extent of what we were doing before with the on-site massage, it was something that we could offer to clients. So yeah, so that's built up, and that's something that we will carry on with as well, you
Brilliant.
know, because I think, you know, doing a hybrid sort of service of things that are remote and those that are on site will work. But then I did do something else during lockdown.
Okay.
Because in the first lockdown, I did sort of think, okay, well, if I can't actually do the massage, perhaps I'll write about it.
Aha.
So I wrote about in a sentence. I wrote a book,
Hey, brilliant.
which I had never would have made the time. I would never have made it a priority to do that. So that was a big positive for me, that I actually made the time to sort of think, yeah, I'm going to do this. Because if you think sort of back, I always say, if you think back to when you were a child and things that you used to enjoy then, and I always used to love stories. I was always reading, and I was always putting myself in the character of stories, and I loved writing stories, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
And then sort of when you get into sort of adulthood, quite often that's bashed out of you, isn't it? Because there's too many other mundane, sensible things to do, you know. And so I sort of rekindled my love of that, I suppose, really. Obviously, I you know, I would never have been able to do it on my own. I did have support and assistance from a lady, you know, Vicky Fraser of Moxie Books. I had actually been, I always say I've been stalking her for about 3 years previous, as in I came across her. She was a speaker on a digital marketing course I was doing, and I remember at the time thinking, oh, I like you, you know, sort of thing. I sort of, you know, how sometimes you just feel that connection with somebody. And so I signed up to her daily emails. She does like a daily blog. And just before the lockdown in February last year, she'd laid down this 29-day challenge where she wanted you to write something every day for 29 days, even if it was just for 5 minutes. And some of those questions were business related. And so I suppose I sort of had that in my mind. And she'd also written a book called How the Hell Do I Write a Book? And I just sort of put the two together and thought, I could give this a go. So I got her book, and then sort of with the thought of, well, I've already written some things about the business, why don't I give it a go? And so with her help, you know, this time last year, it was still just words on a computer, but we got there probably about end of July, August, I think, for the first draft, and faffed about with it for I don't know how long, and eventually it was published in December. So
That's fantastic. So what's it called?
it's called Rubbing Shoulders with the Best. So it's growing a massage business without the stress.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
So
And I also know you've been nominated for an award as well for that book.
I know. See, this book has got a little sticker on here, and it says Business Book Awards 2021 finalist. I'm waiting for another sticker now to go over the top of that, which will say Business Book Awards 2021 highly commended.
Wow,
Because I put it
congratulations,
into
that's
the
brilliant.
I put it in, I know, thank you. It was in the specialist book category, and you can't get much more specialist than a book about massage business. So yeah, so it was a couple of weeks ago, the virtual ceremony, and it came out as highly commended. So I was absolutely over the moon.
Congratulations, Kathy,
But
and
I
I'm
also have to
sure.
thank you, Marie, as well. I have to say, I have to thank you, because I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for you tagging me into a post in LinkedIn. So there's the power of networking, folks, and supporting each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's what it's all about, supporting each other, isn't it? And like you
Yeah.
said, I after you sort of worked with Vicky Fraser, I'm now working with Vicky Fraser on my book as well. So it works both ways, isn't it? But let's take us back to today's landscape then.
Yeah.
So, in relation to well-being, so you had a lot of real positive things that came out of the pandemic and lockdown for you and your business by diversifying. But what do you think are now the opportunities in the landscape we're in moving forward?
I think with the way everybody's been having to work, well, either working remotely because they've been working at home, others obviously have been furloughed, and there's those who've been working all through. Um, I think mental health awareness is going to be a big thing for employers. Um, because although, well, and also, I mean, we don't know, do we, sort of what individual people have experienced through the lockdown. You know, some of them may have had a really rough time. You know, it's not just work, is it? It's personal, and they may have suffered loss themselves. You know, we just don't know. And so I think now is the time really for businesses to sort of reevaluate what have they already got in place to support their employees, and is there anything else they can do. And I think one of the things that they could make a huge investment in really is mental health first aid training, just so that they've got the people there who can recognize, you know, observe people really, and recognize anything that they feel, you know, isn't right, and try and sort of encourage people to talk about it. And I think also with everybody sort of having worked individually, if you like, sort of bringing people back and recreating that team spirit, you know, that's going to be a big thing as well. Some people might feel as if they've sort of lost out maybe on sort of like learning and development, you know, training, that sort of, and you know, so there's all sorts of things that I think that have got to be addressed. And so I think really that the challenge with sort of well-being now is for businesses to really take it seriously and invest in it, not just say, oh yeah, you know, we acknowledge that, but skirt over it, or, you know, put something in place as a tick box exercise and then forget about it, sort of thing. It's got to be sort of long term. But yeah, I think it's going to be strange really sort of for businesses for quite a while really to get back into some sort of routine. But I do think that investing in health and wellbeing of staff has got to be a high priority.
Massively agree with you there, Cafe. I mean, mental first aid is is in the workplace, having first aiders, and I think more and more companies are aware that they need to have mental health first aiders, because you know an injury to an arm, you know, is the same as an injury from a mental health perspective. So I totally get it there. And I think having a robust wellbeing strategy in place, you can do initiatives like have people in for massages, doing yoga, you know, and it just improves the culture of an organisation as well.
It does, and you know, it's, you know, some people might sort of think of things like that, like massage and yoga. Oh, you know, it's frivolous, but it's not. You know, it's all part of a bigger picture. You know, obviously, it's not just going to be that, but I do think that sort of things that show your employees, you know, that you are looking after them, you do care about them. And it's, I think with things like that as well, they create conversation. You know, we found this sort of before when we've gone into places and, you know, we've done sort of sessions of the massage, and then people who haven't been able to get a slot, you know, because people have come back and said, oh, it's great, you know, I feel really brilliant, blah, blah. Well, I want that too, you know, sort of thing. And I think that's another thing that's been lost over the last year or so, obviously, is there hasn't been that social interaction in the workplace either, you know. So
Yeah.
if you're doing things that are creating conversations as well, you know, that's good. It's all, what about harnessing a feel-good factor, I think, which obviously has been lacking for so long, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're all sort of like small parts of a bigger picture, but they're all equally as important, I think.
I agree, totally agree. So, how do you maintain your personal well-being, Kathy? I mean, you're always hands-on with doing what you do, but what about you? How do you invest in yourself?
um I've it's always the case, isn't it? Sort of a case of practice what you preach, you know, and for so long I wasn't very good at that at all. You know, telling everybody else is you've got to make time for yourself, you've got to take breaks, you know, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And there was I sort of running around like a frazzled goodness knows what. But I do make sure that I do take time. Obviously we've just moved to a new area, so I'm sort of building up contacts here, but I did used to have a massage once a month.
Nice.
At the moment I'm going to a chiropractor instead, but I just love being outside, so we go for walks. I love walking. I'm not into sort of like endurance sports or anything like that. Nice and easy for me, so nice walks. Generally being outside just makes me feel better anyway. When we get settled, I should definitely be having chickens again, because
Aha.
that was always my favourite waste of time. We've had chickens for 10 years and they're absolutely, and I could actually just sit with them all day long, just watching them and their antics, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's just taking that time out really for yourself, and, you know, and realising the importance of it, because you can't just keep work all the time, can you? Apart from that
I
sport.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, it's good that you are passionate about your job, but you
Mm.
also need to have a balance between work and investing in yourself as well, for sure.
But you do, because otherwise work can become sort of overwhelming, and then you're not really going to be sort of working as efficiently as you could, are you? Because if you used to get to that point where you just think, oh, I am so busy, I don't know what to do next, and you end up doing less anyway, I think. Whereas if you take time out for a breather, and, you know, it
Yeah.
just makes all the difference, really.
So have you sort of come into contact yourself, Kathy, either with somebody that you know that may have had poor mental health, or have you experienced it, if you're happy to talk about it?
Yeah, I think, you know, over the years, yes, but I think the thing is now people are willing to talk about it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm of the generation really where you never did, you know, you don't talk to people, like, you know, keep your business to yourself, and, you know, and yeah, so I've seen the outcome of that, if you like, over the years, where and yeah, but, you know, I'm like everybody else, I've had my moments as well, but I did keep it all in, just, you know, kept it and suffered in silence, sort of thing. So, you know, and unfortunately sort of there's one part of me, because it's been so instilled in me, I think, you know, that I do tend to clam up, I think. You know, if anyone says, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, you know. That's my stock answer. I always remember a friend of mine sort of, you know, a number of years ago now, when I was going through a bit of a rough time, she said, I wish you wouldn't say that, because I know you're not fine, you know, sort of thing. No, am I, you know, which I know now, probably if I'd have opened up a bit more, it probably would have been better. But yeah, so I think things are improving now, in that, you know, people are more willing to talk. And, you know, I think sort of years ago there was all this sort of, I don't know, almost a shame about it, wasn't there? So you didn't really sort of let on. People might sort of think, oh, you're weak, pull yourself together. It's all that sort of attitude, isn't it, really?
There's a lot more services available as well, whether that's wellbeing coaches, mentors, and I think that's a real positive that I'm seeing as a result of the pandemic. There are more services available for people to go and get help from, which has got to be a good thing. And obviously services like yours. So what's the future of hands-on and work then? So we've talked a bit about you're going to be doing the massage again.
Oh yes, yeah. I was actually quite encouraged because it was from the 12th of April this year, when restrictions were eased a little, that we could actually go back. And I contacted all our regular corporate clients to say, look, I appreciate you might not be in a position yet, but when you are, we're here. And I was actually quite encouraged with the response, so many of them saying, oh, thank goodness, we've missed you so much, and booked in straight away. There's others, obviously, who sort of say, well, we're not quite ready yet, but perhaps revisit it about now, June, July. So, yeah, I'm feeling quite positive about that we will definitely get back into the workplace. I think we have been missed.
I can imagine.
And we've missed doing it as well. We love doing it. So, so more of that, definitely build that back up again. As I was saying, we've now created these other things like the desk yoga, the mindfulness. We've got some Qi Gong videos, which is a fusion of Reiki and Qi Gong, which is very sort of meditative, and so that's all very good for like the mental health, and but so there's quite a few things now that we've sort of added to our repertoire, if you like, and so Brilliant. We can sort of carry on doing this hybrid of sort of online and on site. So yeah,
that's brilliant. I can imagine it's a very rewarding business to do that.
Yeah,
but in relation to you, can you recall a time that you feel has been the most rewarding?
Yeah, there's a couple of things really. One of them I remember going back to Chamber of Commerce. I'm pretty sure it's only contacted me to say, well, could you offer some work experience? And my immediate reaction was no. I can't do that. Only because I was scared, thinking, well, what would I do? And then I thought about it, because it was actually two students from New College Worcester, which is for the visually impaired. And there were two girls there who were interested in going on to sort of study complementary therapies. And I thought, yes, I'm sure I could do something. So anyway, so we had the two of them with their teacher, and basically we took them to one of our clients who ran a conference rooms, but upstairs her husband had a business. And so we set up the massage chair in the conference rooms, and then the people from upstairs came down to have a massage. And all we did really was guide the girls to where the and to watch them work, because obviously it was so intuitive, because obviously they couldn't see. So it was all literally the power of touch,
Wow.
And that was great. And then later on in the afternoon, one of my private clients, really lovely, sort of said, oh, they can come over here and give me a couch massage. So they then did a nice oiled back massage for her. But it was so interesting because they both worked in such different ways. The one was definitely very holistic, very spiritual, and I could see her doing things like Indian head massage, and the other one was definitely more get in there, going down the sports therapy route, so so that was great. I really enjoyed that.
Fantastic. That sounds really rewarding. But
it was.
So who inspires you, Kathy, in the world of wellbeing?
That's me. There is a lady called Jane Johnson she's a physiotherapist, but she was also a massage therapist. She's written tons of books, tons and tons of books. But I went on a course of a couple of years ago that she was running, all to do with postural analysis, things like this. But she is one of these people who just gives. She gives such good value. She wasn't just there to sort of like, this is my course, blah, blah, blah. She's she's just so supportive. She's got a brilliant sort of Facebook group as well, where you can ask her anything, and over and above even on that course of what was in the content, she's just one of those people who just imparts so much knowledge, and some people you sort of come across and it literally is just very black and white, and give us your money type of thing, whereas she's just so enthusiastic about what she does that she just wants everybody to know everything. And she's really good. She's really, really inspiring.
So what was her
I
name?
learned so
Jane
much from
Johnson, did you say?
Jane Johnson.
Yeah. And has she got you said she's got a Facebook group?
She has got a Facebook group. It's one where you have to be invited, but it's called the Friendly Physio.
Right,
But
okay.
if you looked up Jane Johnson, you would see no end of books that she's written.
Okay.
Yeah, she is brilliant.
Interesting. Kathy, the time has suddenly evaporated.
No.
We've been chatting already for over half an hour. For our listeners, how can they connect with you? What's the best way for them to get in touch?
Okay, well, to get in touch with me personally, they can, my email is just info@handsonatwork.co.uk. We've obviously got the website, we've got Facebook page, we've got Twitter, we've got LinkedIn. I mean, there's all those usual sort of channels really. But yeah, or just go to the website and contact me from there. And but yeah, if anyone's interested in having us in, or just wants to chat, or wants to join the team, we're always looking for people to join the team. That would be great.
Fantastic. And also, just to mention, your book before we go. So for all those people out there that are hoping to set up their own massage business, they can find your book, Rubbing Shoulders with the Best.
Rubbing Shoulders with the Best. Yeah.
And where can they find that?
Again, we've got a Facebook page, which is Rubbing Shoulders with the Best, and also a website, which is rubbingshoulders.co.uk. Which is available from either of those, and also from Amazon if you wanted to purchase a copy.
Fabulous. Kathy, it's been a sheer delight. Thank you so much for your time.
No, well, thank you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed that.
Good luck with the book.
Thank you.
All the best. Thanks a lot.
You too. Bye.